Hi everyone. You guys are about to watch a deep news session with Shantae. The topic, or the title of this deep news is Donald Trump and UAP disclosure. The target subject is, obviously, Donald Trump. He is going to be subject A. Now, we also have two focuses for this target. Focus 1 is Donald Trump in December of 2023, when he is thinking about the idea of UAP/UFO disclosure. Now, focus 2 is Donald Trump during the Republican National Convention in Milwaukee, Wisconsin on the 18th of July, 2024. Now, we also dive into a concern, concern 1. Concern 1 is how much does Donald Trump know about the ET, UAP, and UFO situation? And also, does he think it's important? So, basically, we're going to be diving into all of these focuses, exploring these different concerns, and trying to check out if there's any sort of cognitive impairment with regards to these issues. I'm sure it'll be a great session, and so definitely stay tuned, guys. This will be a great one. Hi, everybody. Welcome to another Deep News. Today we have Shantae, and Shantae, why don't you just get us started? We've got a great session here, and I'll hand it off to you.
Cool. So starting off at Focus 1, some general things in the environment I picked up was hilly land, multiple surface structures, a few non-surface structures, and some hard surface textures, and what felt like an urban environment. And I also picked up a target subject, I'll call subject A, and I've seen this subject inside a structure on the base surface. So moving to more of a description of subject A, this is a male subject with a lighter complexion, large eyes, a smooth head or like smooth skin, thin hair with hues that are darker than the complexion of his skin, and kind of a bland or a casual attire. Just this subject appearance just isn't really standing out too much. And as far as, let's see, the attires, I've seen kind of dark hues when the subject is at work, like different attire, darker hues, less casual, and it's more formal attire rather than like a work uniform. So
Fascinating. Okay,
yeah.
So did you do a deep mind probe of the subject A?
Yes, so the deep mind probe for subject A overall just seemed like lacking enthusiasm or motivation. Like the subject is calm, but also maybe just feeling uninterested in what's going on. The subject also seemed kind of contemplative or indecisive. Like this is subject A is like in a transition period of just being in between. I see also a lot more mental activity from subject A rather than physical activity, and just more of a low-key subject that doesn't want a lot of attention on himself.
Interesting. Okay, so what about the deep mind probe? The deep mind probe with regards to focus 1 and concern 1.
So deep mind probe at focus 1 and concern 1. I had subject A with a lot of thoughts or putting a lot of mental energy towards concern 1 here. And this also felt like it was unhealthy or having a negative impact on subject A. And this subject seems like he's just on his own, doesn't have a lot of support from, not a lot of support regarding concern 1.
Interesting. So I know you went into a cognitive impairment scale. You want to give us an insight on what you found out when probing for that type of stuff?
The subject's internal brain and cognitive impairment, I'm seeing more influenced by artificial stimuli, or feels like there's a deliberate interference. Like subject A is being targeted and similar subjects are being targeted, as well as this artificial influence is like increasing over time. And for the subject A's physical environment, it seems like it's allowing for this increase in artificial influence of his cognitive abilities. And there is some ET manipulation here, but it feels like a more overwhelming AI presence.
Fascinating. Okay, so what about, I know you did another probe for the same concern in Focus 2. So what's going on there?
So at Focus 2, I see subject A with less focus on concern 1. And overall, he's feeling a little more distracted here, more combative or argumentative or more defensive. Subject A is less approachable at this time in regards to concern 1, and also maybe just less control over his own actions here.
Interesting. All right. I know you jumped into a second cognitive impairment scale for the second focus. So what else did you figure out as you kept probing?
For the second probe, I see subject A here even more susceptible to artificial influences. It feels like a kind of echo chamber effect, like little access to other different perspectives for subject A, like less exposure to different perspectives. And also at this point, the physical environment for subject A is actually overwhelming. And it feels like he's being attacked, not physically, but more like his personality and his judgments are being attacked. And this is all intensified by this AI presence.
Fascinating stuff. Wow, lots of artificial stuff going on there. It really is going to be interesting when you hear the target. Are you ready for the target reveal?
Yeah, let's do it.
All right, fantastic. So here, let me hand you this paper. And subject A was Donald Trump.
Oh, gosh.
Yeah, so that was a really fascinating session. A lot of the verifiable elements that we can pull from this session, spot on remote viewing, exactly perfect in terms of what we can imagine. So, well, let's start off with the focuses. So, obviously, subject A, Donald Trump, as I just said. Focus 1 is Donald Trump in December of 2023, when he is thinking about the idea of UAP and UFO disclosure. Now, Focus 2, that is Donald Trump during the Republican National Convention in Milwaukee, Wisconsin, and that is on the 18th of July, 2024. Now, when we also looked at concern 1, that is how much does Donald Trump know about the ET, UAP, and UFO situation, and does he think it's important? So, at first, before I say anything else, did you have any sort of initial thoughts about what you got there?
I mean, I feel pretty good about my sketch of the subject, but also the AI influence is really interesting. Like, it kind of doesn't surprise me. I guess, like, he very much gives off AI, but with, like, some sort of malfunction or something. I don't know. Yeah.
Well, actually, it was a really fascinating thing to hear your sort of expounded probes about that sort of artificial influence, because you said that it was like an echo chamber, and that is a huge criticism that everyone has about their own involvement with the internet. And they feel like the algorithms, the way that the internet in itself works, and I would imagine this to be especially so for politicians. When they have ideas, they want to make sure that their platform is as loud as possible to get the votes, to get the attention. And you can make the argument that a politician's game, everyone, is to make their sort of echo chamber of their experiences as loud as possible. And that has been a big criticism for quite a few politicians, Donald Trump included, that they have these echo chamber events that sort of re-bolster what they're sort of putting out there. And your other probes of the criticisms that he felt like he was experiencing at the Republican National Convention was that he seemed to be a little distractive and a bit more combative and argumentative. I mean, he's debating people supposedly that's what's going to happen, but he's basically doing the politician thing at that point in time. And people are attacking him for his ideas, his perspectives on things. I mean, that's exactly political stuff.
Yeah.
That's exactly what's happening. And you got that right away. And that was a fantastic bit of remote viewing. What do you think about that?
I feel good about it.
Yeah, I would feel good about that too. That's a completely blind. You got this off of random numbers from a random number generator. I mean, that's great.
Yeah.
Fantastic stuff.
Thank you.
Yeah, and this, it's even great. I mean, you mentioned it before. You have a sketch of the subject, and you have this clean-shaven, formal suit-wearing subject. When he goes to work, you have the dark attire. I mean, they wear this dark blue jacket, and you drew out a formal jacket on a subject, and that was, he said he had a little bit of a thinner hair. I mean, he's an older subject, so they have thinner hair, and yeah, I mean, that was absolutely fantastic. So it's also interesting to see his perspectives on the UAP thing. So what's interesting also, you have this, if we go back to Focus One, now going back in time a little bit, because Focus One is basically this month, basically December 2023, the month that we're recording this. And when we're looking at what Donald Trump is doing during December, and you're saying stuff like you're not really excited for all the attention on him, like a little less attention. Look at the attention that's on him right now in the media, and it's him in these court cases. Of course, that a politician would not want that type of attention on him at the moment. And it also seems like this the UAP stuff with David Grush, that seems to be it was in the news rather recently for that bill that sort of got crushed not too long ago. But obviously, he has those certain opinions that you picked up about that, but he's way less involved in the UAP UFO issue, not really thinking about it at all when it comes time for election time, for that debate type of stuff. So it seems like we're going to have this ebb and flow of that disclosure issue. It does seem like with regards to Concern One, he has some energy and some thought being put into it now, as it's sort of a media topic right now. And it doesn't seem like there's a lot of support with Concern One that he's seeing. And that's something that we're seeing in the news right now. I mean, the bill to get that disclosure process, to have that complete disclosure, that was nuked by the Intelligence Committee that's supposed to be trying to get the stuff out in Congress. So there's this legal battle going on over there. And he's not seeing a lot of support to get that stuff to really push through right away. So it's it really, though, that's verifiable. That stuff is happening, and you picked it up in your session blind without knowing what Concern One was. So it's great to see that type of stuff in a remote viewing session. Really fantastic. Any thoughts about that?
No more thoughts. I feel good about the information I found.
That's great. Yeah. It is a good thing to have those sort of information. I mean, that really is great. And it's also a nice comparison between your one other thing I noticed that was a nice comparison between your two cognitive impairment scales was this increasing artificial influence on the internal brain. And it targets, you said this right at the beginning, it's targeted towards subjects like Subject A and other similar subjects. So it's not like he's the only victim of this type of stuff. I would actually go ahead and wager, because if I was to sort of extrapolate from your session, this might be a big effect of these AI algorithms, these artificial things, and potentially a more powerful AI presence that's not really openly disclosed to the public, that is heavily involved in influencing the minds of individuals and using whatever our inputs and access points with social media are, whether that be our phone, our computers, just the various interactions we have with social media and mainstream news, television, all that stuff, anything electronic really, to trying to impede on our minds. And I would imagine that a politician would be very susceptible to this thing, and you picked up that it's affecting Subject A, and it's not just affecting Subject A, it's affecting lots of similar subjects. So, I mean, this is this is something that the more we're aware of these type of things, the more we can sort of catch it. Sort of like in meditation, actually, when you're aware that you're not that you aren't your emotions, that they're sort of like clouds in the sky. You can see them. You know, you can have sort of an anger or a negative emotion fly by, and you can sort of look at it from that third person perspective, you know? And you can see that, like, oh, that's separate from me. That's flying by over there. And if you're unaware of that relationship, you can get caught up into it, and then it completely has control over you and completely manipulates you to be sort of tugged in various directions, causing stress ultimately. But that was very fascinating, seeing these cognitive impairment scales and seeing that this technological relationship that we have with our advancement of our civilization really is it impedes the mind. It really does create sort of effects on our neurocognitive abilities and whatever we can, I guess, call original thought, so to speak. Yeah.
For sure. Yeah.
Anyway, any final questions or comments? This was a great remote viewing session. Really told us a lot about the mind and a lot about the UAP UFO issue and Donald Trump himself.
I don't have any more thoughts at the moment.
Sounds great. Well, thanks a bunch, Shantae. Everyone learned a lot, and thank you all guys for watching this project.